Hey everyone, it's Priscilla from the Stitch Queen Crochet, and today I'll be showing you all how to make my size inclusive summer breeze crochet shorts pattern. In the description below, you'll find a tutorial for each stitch, as well as a written pattern you can purchase to follow along if you would like, and timestamps for each part of the pattern. This can be made in any size for any body type. All you need is your measurements, which I'll show you what you need next, and just feel free to follow along. And also, there's a blog post below if you want to see some of my testers creations and other things as well. You can use whatever hook and yarn you want. I'm using worsted weight cotton yarn and a 5mm hook. Alright, so grab your measuring tool. I'm using a nice flexible one. You're going to need to get two measurements for this shorts pattern. Measurement number 1 is your waist, or how high you want your shorts to go. And then measurement number 2 is the measurement of the biggest part of your hip/butt area, and that is measurement number 2. So you want to write these numbers down, and if you want to, you can be like me. I added a few more inches to my waist and hip measurements just so that I can have more room for my legs to move around and that the shorts did not have to stretch as much when I wore them. So you can keep yours as is, or you can add more inches to them if you would like. So now I'm going to make a slip knot and put it on my hook. And in case you don't know any of the stitches that I say in this video, they are all linked down below every stitch. So make a slip knot, and now I'm going to look at my measurement number 1, which is 41 inches, and I'm going to foundation single crochet that many inches. Now some people may choose to just chain that many inches, but I like doing a foundation single crochet so that's a little bit more stretchy and it's more true to the size that's going to be when I start doing stitches into it. But you can choose whatever you like, chaining or foundation single crochet, and we'll meet back up after I chain or foundation single crochet my 41 inches. Now that I've gotten my foundation chain 41 inches, I need to make sure that it's going to go over my hips when I put the shorts on. So I'm going to stretch it to make sure that it will go over my initial hip measurement. And if you don't have a measuring tape to do that, all you have to do is just slip stitch the ends together and then bring it up over your hips to make sure that when you put the shorts on, that the shorts will go over your hips when you put them on. If they don't go over your hips, just add a few chains or foundation chains until it is big enough to go over your hips. And it should stretch a bit to go over, but if not, as I said, just add a few chains. And I'm testing mine right here. My slip stitch fell out, so I'm kind of stretching it over my hips to make sure that it goes over, and it does. So now let's continue making the shorts. So let's make sure that our chain or foundation chain is not tangled up, because we are going to slip stitch to the first one that we created. Let's make sure that this is perfectly straight. A few twists and turns in there. Gonna bring it around and then slip stitch into the first one that I created. This will form a nice circle. Once again, make sure that's not all twisted up. All right, let's continue on. So at the beginning of all my rounds, I chain 1, but you can do whatever you feel comfortable with. Now for round 1, I am going to half double crochet into every single chain or foundation crochet, whatever you did, all the way around. So let's meet back up at the end of round 1 after we've half double crocheted into every single stitch. Now that we're at the end of round 1, I'm going to slip stitch into the first half double crochet that I made of that round. And now after every single round, we are going to turn our work. So basically I'm going like this. Here's the front, I'm flipping it, I'm turning my work. I'm going to work in the opposite direction. We're doing this so that our seam stays relatively straight. That's what I like to do. All right, so round 2, we are going to half double crochet into the third loop of every stitch. Now, once again, if you don't know what the third loop is, I have linked every single tutorial below. But real quick, for a little refresher in case you forgot, it's going to be not working into the top regular V. You're going to turn your work a little bit more towards you. It's going to be this loop underneath that V right here. That is the third loop. So not the V on top, but right here, right next to it. Once again, there is a full tutorial to make sure you're doing it right. in the description, but when you work in a third loop, it's going to push that top V towards the outside of your work. So I'm working in that. I turn it over, creates this nice little texture in front of my work. That's how you know you're doing it right. All right, so we're going to work in a third loop all the way around. I'll meet you guys at the end of round 2. All right, so after you finish round 2, you're going to slip stitch to the first stitch you made of that round. Just remember, you're going to do that after every single round, and you're going to turn your work. So you're going to chain 1, and for round 3, we're going to half double crochet into every single stitch. After round 3, you're going to turn your work as per usual, and then you're going to do a half double crochet into the third loop of every stitch. So round 3, half double crochet. Round 4, do everything into the third loop. I'll meet up with you guys after round 4. And don't forget to turn your work after round 3. Alright, so now that we have finished row 4, we got to do a little bit of math, but don't worry, I will explain it step by step how it needs to be done. So the first thing you're going to want to do is measure how long your piece is currently. And I don't stretch my shorts out when I measure it because I kind of just want it to be true to size as it is right now. My shorts are currently about 35 inches long. So now I need to see how big I want the hip part of my shorts to be by pulling back up the measurements that I wrote down earlier. So my shorts are currently about 34 inches and I want my hip measurement to be about 46 inches. I need to see the difference between those two numbers. And another way of saying that is to see how many inches I need to add. So we're going to subtract my hip measurement, or my measurement number 2, from where I am right now. So 46 take away 34. Now if your number 2 measurement is smaller than your number 1 measurement, you don't need to do this part, and make sure that when I tell you to do increase rounds, that you don't do them over the next few rounds. So just a reminder, if your number 2 measurement is the same size or smaller than your number 1 measurement, ignore all this part. You can skip down to row number 5. The link to it, to the timestamp, is in the description. All right, so if your hip measurement is bigger than your waist measurement, continue on. So get your measurement number 2 and subtract from where you are right now, what the length or the width of your shorts are right now. So if I do 46 minus 34, I have 12. So this means that I need to increase by 12 inches over these next few rows. Now I'm going to have 3 increase rows over the next part of this pattern. So what we need to do is to divide whatever number we have by 3. Now if it doesn't divide evenly, that's okay. You can round up or round down, but luckily for me, it's 12. So 12 divided by 3 equals 4. So over the next 3 increase rounds, each increase round, singularly, I'm going to add 4 inches for each increase round. Okay? So start with this number right here. That's how many inches we're going to increase by each round. Now we need to figure out how many stitches we have in each inch of our work. And this will help us to determine how many stitches that we need to increase by as we continue on. I'm going to get my ruler and I'm going to do an inch and see how many stitches I have in that inch. So it looks like actually it's upside down. Hold on. There we go. It looks like I have 3 half double crochet stitches in each inch. So now I know that I have 3 crochet stitches in each inch. So multiply that number by how many stitches you have in the inch. All right, so if you do all that math correctly, you will get a number. My number is 12, which means that I will be increasing by 12 stitches when I do those increase rounds. So you can increase evenly or unevenly, but what I would suggest is to count how many stitches you have before you do an increase round, and then divide that number by 12. And whatever that number is, you're going to do that many stitches. On the last stitch, you're going to increase. So for example, I'm going to make it evenly for you guys. If I have 144 stitches and I need to increase by 12 stitches, I'm going to divide that number by 12, which is 12. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to do 11 normal stitches. And then on the 12th stitch, I'm going to increase. Now, once again, you can increase however you want. You can do it randomly around your work. It doesn't matter. But that's how I find out how to increase evenly around my round and or row. So have this number handy. And now we're going to continue on to round number 5. When there will be an increase round, I will let you guys know and say, hey, this is an increase round. And that is when you increase by whatever your final number is, minus 12. If you don't get it, rewind it, or if you really don't get it, ask me in the comments and I will help you guys figure out what your increase in. But I will say to try it first because I'm pretty sure you can figure it out. All right, so now we are on to round 5. Now make sure that after you did round 4, you turn your work. Once again, we do this to make sure that we keep the seam a bit even. Before we start round 5, now there is going to be 23 rounds in this section of the shorts. So I need you guys to try on your shorts as you go, and you want to get until you're about 2 to 3 inches past your crotch area. And when you get there, you can stop before you get to round 23, or if you need it to be longer, you can start back out at round number 5. And I'll remind you guys as we go, just try on your shorts. Make sure you get to the length that you would like for the top part, because after we do this part, we're going to go on to the thighs. All right, so for round 5, we're going to chain 1, and we're going to double crochet into each stitch all the way around our work. And I'll catch up with you guys at round 6. All right, so now we're going to turn our work at the end of round 5, and for round 6 we are going to half double crochet into every stitch. So for row 7, make sure you turn your work after round 6, and then you are going to half double crochet into the back loop of every stitch. All right guys, so I'm turning my work after round 7, and now we are on to round 8. This is an increase round, and we are going to be half double crocheting into the front loop of every stitch. So make sure that you know how many stitches you're supposed to be increasing on each round. I'm supposed to be increasing 12 stitches on each round, and you can increase basically randomly, or you can do what I told you earlier about counting and dividing. But make sure you do that. And once again, if you don't have to increase, make sure you're not increasing anything on this round if your measurement number 2 was the same or less than measurement number 1. All right, so after you do this increase round, I'll meet with you guys on round 9. Now, after you finish round 8 and you slip stitch into the first stitch you made of that round, for this round only, we are not going to turn our work. We're going to continue in the same direction for this round only, then we're going to continue going back and forth. So for round 9, we're going to do a double crochet into each stitch. All right, and I'll catch up with you guys at the end of round 9 so we can start round 10. So after round 9, make sure that you start turning your work again. So in round 10 is going to be another increase round. So make sure you're increasing, and you're going to be doing a half double crochet stitch in every stitch. So after round 10, turn your work, and we're going to do a half double crochet stitch in the third loop of every stitch. All right, everyone, we're going to speed it up just a little bit. So for round 12, it's going to be an increased round, and you're going to double crochet in every stitch. Round 13, you're going to half double crochet in the front loop of every stitch. And for round 14, you're going to half double crochet in every stitch. And don't forget to turn your work after each round, and make sure that you subscribe to the channel to get more crochet patterns, tips, tricks, and vlogs. For round 15, you are going to half double crochet in the third loop of every stitch. For round 16 and 17, you're going to half double crochet in every stitch. And in round 18, you are going to half double crochet in the back loop of every stitch. And don't forget to try on your shorts as you go and stop whenever you need to stop. And if you need your shorts to be longer, you can always, after you do row 23, start back over at round 5 and just continue on. I'm trying on mine right now to see, I want to get about 2 to 3 inches or like around that past my crotch area, make sure it covers my butt. So I'm going to keep going just a few more rows to make sure that it's going to cover. But we are going to make a like a connection between the front and the back, and then we're going to start working on the thighs after this part. So make sure you turn your work after you do row 18, and then we are going to double crochet into the third loop of every stitch. So for round 20, you are going to half double crochet in each stitch, and then on round 21, you are going to double crochet in each stitch. Don't forget to turn your work after every round, and I'll catch up with you guys on round 22. So for round 22, you are going to half double crochet into the back loop of every stitch, and as always, turn your work, and then on round 23, you are going to half double crochet in every stitch. Now, if you get to this length and you still need it to be longer, restart at round 5, and if you've already completed your shorts or if you're ready to move on to the leg portion, continue on here. Alright, so I have tried on my shorts and have gotten to the length that I would like. Now we are going to add a little thing at the top, so I'm not too worried about pulling it a little bit more down in the back to reach. And alright, let's go on to the leg portion of our shorts. Now count all the way around your work and see how many stitches you have. Now write down that number and divide it by 2. And we're going to divide it by 2 so that we know what the halfway point around our shorts is. So now we're going to count that many stitches halfway around our work. I had 64, so I'm counting 64 stitches. You can put a stitch marker in that stitch or some yarn chains like I did. Now let's go back to where we're working at. Now you don't have to turn your work after the last round, but you can if you want to. It doesn't really matter. Now we are going to do a foundation single crochet chain basically to connect the front and back of our work. I'm going to do around 10 to 13 foundation single crochets. You can do less or more, however many you want. Basically, to start the foundation single crochet chain, I'm going to chain 1, go into the stitch right there, wrap it around, pull up 1, wrap it around, pull up 1, wrap it around, pull it through 2. I do also have, as I told you guys, stitch tutorials for every single stitch, including this one, the description, if you want to like a more in-depth tutorial. That's how I started off from this section. Now I'm going to do my foundation single crochets. I'm going to do around 10 to 13, and then after I do that, we're going to slip stitch it onto where we put that little stitch marker or yarn halfway around the shorts. And that position halfway around the shorts is basically the exact front of the shorts, the opposite side of the seam. Let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're going to try on the shorts to see if we like basically how it feels with that many foundation single crochets in between. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're gonna do 13. 11, 12, 13. Now to slip stitch it onto the front part, make sure your foundation chain is not twisted or whatever. And then we're just gonna lay the shorts like this, kind of just like open like a tube, and it's not twisted at all. Like here's the front, here's the back. So I'm going to find my stitch marker. So directly across, here is my foundation single crochet, and here is this. So I'm going to leave this here in case I have to do this chain part over. I'm going to make sure that my chain's straight, and I'm going to slip stitch into that stitch right from the back of it right there. And now let's try the shorts on. I'm going to do a few chains, make sure that doesn't come out while I try it on. We're going to try it on and see how it looks. So this connects the front and the back of the shorts. And now we have 2 leg holes. All right, let's try it on. All right, so now I'm going to try on the shorts. So I know the stitch marker, yarn marker is in front of the shorts, so I'm going to put them on that way. And okay, I'm going to do a little shimmy. Liking how they feel so far. I want it to be a little loose so I can move around in them more. As you can see, move my legs and stuff. Oh yeah, the back looks good. Perfect. A little smack. All right, so I like how this fits. Let's go ahead. All right, so I liked how that fit. If you didn't like how yours fit, take it off. Add foundation single crochets or subtract them to get like the kind of fit that you want. So I'm going to go ahead and take off this bootleg stitch marker that I made out of some yarn. Okay, cool. Now let's continue on and take off these extra chains I made that to make sure that didn't come out. Okay. All right, so now we are going to, I just turn my work around. You guys didn't see me do it. Make sure you're going to be facing the inside of your work when we start round 1 of the thighs. So this is the outside. See all the texture? Inside is just, more flat. So we're going to be working the first row facing the inside. Let me face it this way. And we're going to be working around one leg hole at a time. Right here. So basically what you're going to do is on this side, you're going to be working on one side of the foundation single crochet. And when you do the other leg hole, we're going to be working on the other side of it whenever you get to that side of your legs. So basically, we're going to start with round 1 and just go around and connect, and we're going to turn our work after each round. So make sure you remember that. I'll remind you guys, of course, as well. So for round 1, starting facing inside of your work, chain 1 as per usual, and start by half double crocheting into the front loop of your hook all the way around. And when you get all the way around, you're going to do the same thing that we've been doing. Crochet around, crochet on one side of the foundation single crochet round, and then when you get here all the way back around, slip stitch to the first half double that you made, turn your work, and then we're going to start round 2. All right, here we are at the end of round 1 of the thighs. I'm slip stitching into the first half double crochet that I made of that round. Now when it comes to working in the foundation single crochet on either side of the shorts, you don't really got to worry about doing them in a front loop of that chain. Doesn't really matter, not going to see it anyway. So I just crocheted right into it normally. So now for round 2, let's turn our work. And now we're going to go around the other way around the shorts. So for round 2, we're going to be half double crocheting into the back loop of every stitch. If I can get my hook in there, there we go. So half double crochet in the back loop of every stitch, and I'll catch up with you guys on round 3. All right, so after you do round 2, slip stitch, turn your work, chain 1, and then we are going to half double crochet into the third loop of every stitch. All right, and then I will catch up with you guys on round 4, which actually I'm just going to tell you what round 4 is right now. So round 4 is going to be a normal half double crochet row. So I'll catch up with you guys on round 5. All right, guys, we're going to do another little speed through. So for round 5, we are going to half double crochet into the third loop of each stitch, and then obviously don't forget, after each row, please turn your work. And then on round 6, we are going to double crochet into each stitch. On round 7, we are going to half double crochet in each stitch. And then on round 8, we are going to half double crochet into the back loop of every stitch. Now feel free to try on your shorts as you go to make sure that you have the length that you want. If you want them shorter, take off some rounds. If you want it longer, restart back at round 1 and just go until they're as long as you would like. And then after you do that, we are going to have an optional round, which is round 9, and I will show you guys that right after we finish round 8, and I'll see you guys then. All right, so when you get to the length you want of the thigh portion of your shorts, we can go on to row 9, which you can do or not do. So if you want to keep your shorts with a nice, straight edge, you can stop here and skip number 9. Or if you want to add a nice, cute little shell stitch to the edge, you can. I'll show you real quick how to do the shell stitch. So after you finish your shorts, you can either turn your work or not. It doesn't really matter. The shell stitch looks good from both ways, but I am facing the outside of my work when I'm doing the shell stitch. So the first thing you're going to want to do is you can chain one or not, but I'm going to chain one. And then you're going to skip the next stitch right there. And then after you skip the next stitch, you're going to double crochet 5 into the next one. So skip one and into the next one, double crochet 5. All right, after you double crochet 5, skip one stitch, and then you're going to slip stitch into the next stitch. So we're going to skip that one and slip stitch into this one. And you're going to repeat this all the way around the bottom of your shorts. If you end up with any extra stitches, you can just single crochet into them. So after you slip stitch, skip a stitch, double crochet 5 into the next one. And after you double crochet 5 into the next stitch, skip another stitch, and then slip stitch into the next one. So basically you're gonna slip stitch, skip one, double crochet 5, skip one, slip stitch, and just keep repeating that all the way around your shorts. Alright, so I just finished up the cute little shell stitch. I think it's a cute little addition to the short, so I'm gonna keep that. I like it. So after I finish that leg, now we're gonna go into the other leg of the shorts. We're gonna do the same thing that we did for this one. So let's go to the middle of the shorts where we did that foundation single crochet, which is here. Here's the middle of the shorts. Now we're gonna make sure that we're facing the inside of the shorts when we start, just like we did with the other leg. And we're going to go right back to round 1, which is the half double crochet into the front loop of every stitch, and we're just going to do the same amount of rows we did for the other leg. All the timestamps are below, so if you're working on the foundation single crochet, obviously if you're working on the bottom of it, you won't be able to do a front loop, and that's okay. Just crochet into the bottom of it normally. So we're just going to start with the half double crochet. We're going to do it in the front loop all the way around. Now the other side, the other leg hole. And once again, the timestamp for round 1 is in the description, and then I'll meet up with you guys after you finish this leg. You can skip right into the next part. So after you're done with this, skip past this part, go to the next part. It's going to be where we're going to be sewing in the ends that we have so far, and then we're going to go to the top of the shorts to finish them off. So now you want to take your shorts and turn them to the back and find out where your seam is, right there in the back of your shorts. And we are going to attach our yarn here to do the top of our shorts. We're going to create some holes to create for a drawstring to go through. One of my testers put elastic in there, so you can do that too if you would like, but I don't usually sew on elastic, so I'm going to just make an easy holes just for the drawstring to go through. Now, when I attach my yarn, I usually put a slip knot on my hook, and then I put it through my work. You can do it whatever way you want to attach yarn. This is just the way I usually do it. So I'm going to find my seam right here. I'm going to put my hook through the seam. And now we're going to work on the bottom of our foundation single crochet that we did at the beginning of our shorts. After I put it through, I kind of put through maybe like more than one loop if I can. And then we're going to do 3 double crochet, skip 2 stitches, 3 double crochet, skip 2 all the way around. Attach my yarn. Kind of do like a random little stitch here just so I can get it high enough. And then I'm going to do 3 double crochet stitches into 1 stitch. Like that. And I'm going to skip 2 stitches, 1, 2, and do 3 into the next. I'm going to continue doing this all the way around. So I did 3, skip 2, do 3 more. and then we'll catch back up at the end of our round. And it's okay if you don't end perfectly, as in skipping 2 and connecting here. I'll show you at the end what I do at the end of my row. Here I am at the end of my row. I actually did end perfectly with 2 stitches left to crochet over. But if you ended up with 3 extra stitches, you can just skip the 3 extra stitches. If you end up with 4 extra, you can just, crochet 1 randomly in the middle. Whatever will look right, you can do whatever you want to end off the row if it doesn't end off perfectly. So I'm just going to slip stitch into the first double crochet that I made of this round. We're going to go on to the next round, in the last round of your shorts. So for the last round, you can turn your work or not turn your work. It's completely up to you. It'll be fine either way. But we're just going to chain 1, and then we're going to single crochet into every single stitch of this round. And this is our last round, and the next thing we are going to do is a drawstring. So after you single crochet all the way around, as usual, slip stitch into the first stitch you made, and then we're going to go into the drawstring portion of your shorts. So when you get to the end of the row, after you did your last single crochet, slip stitch into the first one that you made, and then get your scissors and fasten off your work. Now we're going to sew in all of our ends, and we're going to work on our drawstring. So now for the drawstring of the shorts, you just want to start off with a slip knot on your crochet hook, and then we are going to foundation single crochet a drawstring. Now I made my drawstring about 30 inches longer than the top of my shorts, or my waist measurement, whichever one you want to go with. And then I just made it that long. You can make yours longer or shorter, however you want to do it, but with that, it gives the room for the drawstring to be a little bit longer than the shorts. You can tie it in the front. Some people opt out to do an I-cord or a regular chain. Do whatever you want to do. I just like the sturdiness of a foundation single crochet. It might take a little bit longer than a regular chain, but I really like how it turns out. And after you do your long drawstring, you can or cannot add tassels on it if you would like. I do have a link on how to make tassels in the description of this video. On some videos, I'm going to have everything in one video. On some other ones, I'm going to have a lot of things linked out because I don't want my video to be way too long. But I do have a link below on how to make tassels on any shape or size. It's pretty simple, but yeah, it'll be linked below. And when you make your drawstring, you just want to go to the front of your shorts. Get my shorts ready. So I know it's the exact front because I get the legs. I find the middle of the legs right here. I kind of just lay my shorts flat and follow the middle of the legs all the way up to the top. And that's right here. And when you get to the middle top, when you get to the middle top of your shorts, you want to insert your drawstring into the holes from the first round you did at the top of your shorts. The 3 double crochet, skip 2. You're going to go in, over, under each 3 double crochet until you get all the way around your shorts. And when you do that, I'm going to show you guys exactly the over and under part. So you see I went over 1, under the other, over the next one, under the next one. You want to just do that all the way around with your drawstring. It's easier to do it without the tassels on. So you might want to make your drawstring, put it over and under, and then attach your tassels to your drawstring afterwards, if you want tassels, of course. Just do that until you get to the front. Obviously, you'll try it on and you'll make sure that it's centered. And after you put in your drawstring and all your ends are tied in, you can try them on, tie a little bow, and you'll be good to go. So if you like this tutorial, please subscribe. I would love that. Comment below what colors you're going to make your shorts in or what you made them in, and also what kind of patterns you would like to see next. Also, if you want the written pattern, it is available in the description of this video. It's great to follow along with. Also, if you want to make more shorts in the future, you kind of know how to do it and you'll be able to follow the patterns, etc. Thank you guys so much for watching and have an awesome day, my crochet kings and queens.